Hello, welcome to the 2011 through 2012 NFL regular season schedule, Week 13 picks, Part 2 of 2. We will start off between Tennessee at Buffalo at 12 o'clock Central Time on CBS. The outcome of this game may have been entirely different had these teams met in October when the Bills were still healthy and forcing turnovers at a prolific pace, and Chris Johnson was in the process of getting his legs under him following a prolonged holdout instead of December. Buffalo's downward trend is more than simply a tough patch, however, as its deficiencies have been exposed by a glut of devastating injuries that have limited talent around which they're able to overcome or not. Though the Titans are hardly world beaters and the Bills have generally played well at home, there's little question that they've been the more consistent of these teams as of late. With its all-star running back seemingly back in form and Hasselbeck's steady hand under center, Tennessee looks poised to keep its playoff hopes intact by registering another hard-fought win. Titans 21, Bills 17. At 12 o'clock Central Time on CBS, it's Kansas City at Chicago. The Bears have a veteran defense that has many proven players who know their roles very well. Linebackers Lance Briggs and Brian Urlacher are very solid against the run, while defensive end Julius Peppers leads the team with 8 sacks and helps anchor a stout Chicago defensive line. Kansas City also possesses 2 of the more underrated cornerbacks in the league, with Brandon Flowers and Brandon Carr, who combined to shut down one of the best wide receivers in the AFC in Mike Wallace last week. I fully expect defensive coordinator Romeo Crennel to dial up some blitzes against the young Caleb Haney to try to make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket this weekend. I expect this game to be a close one throughout, but the Bears' defense and the Soldier Field crowd will be too much for Kyle Orton and the Chiefs' offense in the end. Bears 21, Chiefs 17. At 12 o'clock Central Time on CBS, it's Denver at Minnesota. There are those who believe all good things must come to an end, and then there are others who are convinced no good thing ever dies. Tebow's exploits in the Mile High City has fans and teammates thinking playoffs, and staying the course will get them there eventually. Sunday will be another step in the right direction, and Tebow may finally hush the critics of Denver's eccentric style of play, with another positive result. A victory in the NFL is crucial, no matter how it looks, and most teams would rather play poorly and win rather than look sharp and lose. Either way it's depicted, the Broncos have something good going on here, and unfortunately my Vikings will be the latest to succumb to that particular philosophy. God damn it. Broncos 20, Vikings 13. At 12 o'clock Central Time on CBS, it's Oakland at Miami. The Raiders have gotten their act together after a 2-game midseason stumble that coincided with Palmer's transition, and their ability to both win on the road and in close games, something the Dolphins have had a lot of trouble doing this season, are definite pluses. On the flip side, Oakland's poor performance in the red zone against Chicago could be a major red flag in a tightly played contest, especially when considering how stingy Miami's defense has been in giving up points lately, and a cross-country trip followed by an early start against a team that's had a few extra days to prepare after playing on Thanksgiving also seems to work to the Dolphins' advantage. Both teams can make a strong case to be the choice here based on their recent body of work, but non-contending Miami has actually been more mistake-free and fundamentally sound than the first-place Raiders, who play a riskier style and can be very prone to penalties. All those factors could have a say in the final outcome. Dolphins 27, Raiders 23. At 12 o'clock Central Time on CBS, it's Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. The Steelers have hit their stride after a slow start, having lost to only one team not named the Baltimore Ravens. The Bengals, meanwhile, have beaten the teams they are supposed to be beating, but have struggled against fellow playoff contenders. A loss to Pittsburgh this weekend in no way ends Cincinnati's playoff hopes, but would certainly leave the club at a mental disadvantage come January. The Bengals definitely need a win to keep their chances alive at the AFC North title, but the Steelers should damper those hopes on their home field. Steelers 28, Bengals 17. At 12 o'clock Central Time on Fox, it's Carolina at Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers are not mathematically eliminated from postseason contention just yet, but they can kiss an NFC South title goodbye now that they have dropped 5 in a row. Tampa Bay has been mostly competitive this season, but in order to avoid losing 6 straight for the first time since opening the 2009 through 2010 campaign with a 0-7 record, Freeman will have to protect the football at all costs. Luckily, he'll have Blount to rely on, but the pass attack needs to get in check by Sunday's kickoff. Newton has lived off to his self-proclaimed billing as Superman, only this time he'll show up as Clark Kent. Buccaneers 23, Panthers 16. At 12 o'clock Central Time on CBS, it's the New York Jets at Washington. This will not be an easy game for the New York Jets, as the Redskins normally play very well at home. The Redskins will look to rattle Mark Sanchez early, and the young quarterback must get the offense rolling in the first quarter. The defense is going to have their hands full with an emerging running back and a quarterback with a gunslinger mentality. The Jets find a way to win the game in the fourth quarter, but it will not be pretty. Jets 21, Redskins 20. At 12 o'clock Central Time on CBS, it's Indianapolis at New England. A low-end defense, a journeyman quarterback making a first start this decade, and an opponent averaging more than 30 points per game with a propensity towards carrying grudges toward past thorns signals certain doom for the Indianapolis Colts. And in New England's home field advantage, it's remarkably difficult to envision a circumstance in which Indianapolis can truly compete. Patriots 38, Colts 17. At 12 o'clock Central Time on Fox, it's Atlanta at Houston. Part of the reason Foster and Tate were so good to begin the season was the presence of Schaub and the threat of the air success. With Leinart and now with the third stringer, the Texans can expect foes to load the box and dare TJ Yates to win games for them. While it might not happen against lower-tier opponents like Jacksonville and Indianapolis, it's harder to imagine the fifth-rounder handling the Falcons in his debut. Falcons 27, Texans 14. At 3:05 Central Time on CBS, it's Baltimore at Cleveland. The Ravens head into Sunday's action tied for first place in the AFC North, while the Browns trail the Ravens and the Steelers by 4 games. The Ravens and quarterback Joe Flacco have the edge in the passing game, while both teams have had trouble establishing the running game. Both teams have tough defenses that can take the ball the other way for 6 points, but the Ravens have the edge there. The Browns' pass defense could give the Ravens' passing attack the key matchup to watch. Talent-wise overall, Baltimore has the advantage, but the fans in Cleveland will be loud early and often. Ravens 26, Browns 16. At 3:15 Central Time on Fox, it's St. Louis at San Francisco. Another day, another new injury twist at Rams Park. After being limited in Wednesday's practice because of soreness in his left ankle, quarterback Sam Bradford was held out of practice entirely on Thursday. The 49ers should clinch the NFC West for the first time since 2002 with a win on Sunday, and they should have an easy time of it against the 2-9 Rams. 49ers 36, Rams 12. At 3:15 Central Time on Fox, it's Green Bay at the New York Giants. A few weeks ago, this 2-game stretch that the Green Bay Packers are in the middle of, with road games at Detroit and New York, looked formidable. Instead, the Packers defeated the Lions by a score of 27-15, and it wasn't even that close. And then on Monday Night Football, the Giants got passed by the Saints 49-24 in a game in which their defense gave them no chance. They now look like two teams heading in opposite directions. If the Giants' offense can attack down the field like the Chargers did against the Packers, then they could have a big game. However, if they're forced into short passes like the Lions and Falcons were, then they'll be hard-pressed to score more than 14 points. The Packers have done a lousy job of covering running backs in pass coverage, but unless Ahmad Bradshaw can practice this week, the Giants might not be able to take advantage of it. The Packers' offense should be able to protect Aaron Rodgers since the Giants only have 3 sacks in their last 3 games, and the Giants were unable to take away either the deep ball or the short passes from Drew Brees. The Giants will probably be asking a lot from their safeties to cover the deep middle and protect against the run, and that didn't go so well last season. The Packers do trend to score slightly worse on the road, 39 points per game at home versus 31 on the road. So the Giants got that going for them. The Giants could turn this game into a shooting match, but no matter what has happened this season, Rodgers has been up to the task and outplayed every opponent. One of these days, some defense is going to figure him out, but the Giants don't appear to possess that defense. Packers 31, Giants 20. At 3:15 Central Time on Fox, it's Dallas at Arizona. With an important battle and its closest competition in the NFC East just a week away, this does have the potential of being a trap game for Dallas. And considering that 7 of the Cowboys' 11 games this season have been decided by 4 points or less, and the team has to dig deep to defeat a pair of non-contenders in 2 straight tests, another down-to-the-wire scenario could be in the offering once again. But although the Cardinals have come close to knocking off some quality teams, they've also yet to beat the caliber of Dallas this year. As long as the Cowboys can stick to the task at hand and play a precise game, their winning streak stands a good chance of being extended. This one may just not come with a whole lot of style points. Cowboys 23, Cardinals 20. At 7:20 Central Time on NBC, it's Sunday Night Football between Detroit at New Orleans. Whether Detroit pulls off an upset or not, the absence of Sue will have an impact either way. The Lions are a talented bunch, mainly because of their offense, but we need the defense to pull out all the stops Sunday in the Big Easy. That means playing perfectly against Breeze is a must, but unfortunately it will be an impossible task for the upstart Lions. New Orleans is clicking at the right time, and there doesn't seem to be an end in sight unless it's at Lucas Oil Stadium for Super Bowl 46, which is on NBC, by the way. Saints 38, Lions 27. And finally, concluding Week 13 of the 2011 through 2012 NFL regular season schedule, it's San Diego at Jacksonville. The Jaguars know their best chances of coming away with a victory lie in running with the football and running with authority while playing solid defense. The latter shouldn't be much of a problem, and they're 3-1 this season when rushing for over 130 yards. If the Chargers cannot keep Jones-Drew under wraps like they did last year, another loss could be in the cards. For San Diego, it's first about stopping all the self-inflicted mistakes. The Chargers' 24 giveaways are the most in the AFC this season, and they've committed 3 turnovers 4 times on the year. Unsurprisingly, they've lost all of those games. Jacksonville's offense is centered around the terrific talents of running back Maurice Jones-Drew, who has 1,040 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, and 23 receptions, and for good reason. The short but powerful 6-year pro is well on his way to another Pro Bowl nod after turning out a 3rd straight 1,000-yard season, and he's been kept under 4 yards a carry in just 2 of the Jaguars' 11 games. Jones-Drew's consistent production has been even more remarkable considering just how anemic the team's passing attack has been. With all of that being said, there is coincidence at this point. Do you remember what happened on Thursday Night Football this week between Philadelphia at Seattle? Sure you do. Philadelphia was already in desperation trying to tilt their season right side up, and I look at San Diego being in those same exact shoes as Philadelphia was. It's too late, Chargers. Your time has come up. No, Chargers, no! Oh yeah, and I was right about Vince Young being held accountable for turnovers. So I may as well rip Phillip Rivers too. Jaguars 18, Chargers 16. And that concludes my 2011 through 2012 NFL regular season schedule, Week 13 picks, Part 2 of 2. I hope you have a fun week, and stay tuned for Thursday Night Football in Week 14.